Hola and welcome to my Spanish class. This is the last topic of chapter 6. My wife helped me to invent these things so we can have a kind of like a board here so you can see what I want to explain today. Remember, verbs are not easy for you guys because in English you don't have pretty much conjugations, but in Spanish, one more time, we have 6 different conjugations. Every single subject has a different conjugation. And because of that, you do not need to write down all the subjects. You need only to write down third person singulars and third person plurals. Él, ella, usted, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Right? You can avoid yo, you can avoid tú, you can avoid nosotros, and you can even avoid vosotros, even though in this class we do not use vosotros. Today, group of verbs should resemble something that we study in chapter 5, tense-changing verbs, right? These verbs behave as if they were tense-changing verbs, but they are not. And why they are not? Because in the stem, we don't have the letters that we need to change for the tense-changing verbs. For instance, if we take the verb jugar, it will behave exactly like contar, cuento, ue, and in the stem. But jugar doesn't have an O in the stem, has a U in the stem, as you can see here. So already we have a letter there for the stem changing situation. So for you, it's not important if you don't realize that these are not like stem changing verbs, because what is important for you here is to learn the conjugations. Every single conjugation that follows or fall inside the boot, those are the guys that extend the change or suffer the change. Those are the irregular ones. Nosotros and vosotros remain regular. So these verbs that I put here, jugar, oler. Jugar means to play, and only to play sports or games. Oler means to smell. Inquirir, that we only use for police environment. No, a person that is not a police officer cannot use inquirir. Inquirir is to inquire or to search or to investigate, but only in the police domain, right? Then guiar, to guide. That is an important one, especially if you are working in a place that you are guiding people. That's the verbo guiar. Then continuar, that is probably the most difficult one to use because continuar is most of the time can be used instead of verbo estar in progressive tense situation. El profesor continúa hablando. El profesor está hablando. El profesor continúa hablando. And then verbs ending in wir. All group of verbs are ending in wir, like the verbo huir. They have the same kind of change in the stem. So we will go one by one and little by little. The first verb then that we will start working is the verbo jugar. Jugar, as I said, means to play, but only to play a game or to play sports. We don't play the guitar with the verbo jugar. We use a different verb to say I play the guitar. We use tocar there, right? So how is the conjugation of jugar? See, I made the shape. I don't know if you can see the shape here, but I made the boot or the shoe shape that says juego, juego. And I underlined the letter that is foreigner letter there, right? It's a letter that we imported in order to do the conjugation. Now, once we do the conjugation, that verb resembles contar, cuento, or almorzar, almuerzo, ue, as part of the conjugation. But if you see the infinitive of the verb, jugar, we don't have the o, we have a u there. So we import that e, and now we have the conjugation. Juego, juegas, juega, juegan. All those are inside the boot, and then nosotros and vosotros form remain regular. Jugamos and jugáis. Examples of a sentence like that: Cole juega fútbol, right? Zach juega fútbol. Hannah juega fútbol. Sean juega fútbol, right? Yo juego Scrabble. Yo juego cartas. Yo juego damas chinas. So I am giving you examples that either fall into the category of sports or all the three examples that I put using myself as a subject, they are examples of a game, right? So that's the verbo jugar. It's the first verb of this small group of verbs that change as if they were stem changing verbs even though they are not. The next verb is the verbo oler, to smell, right? Now, you can see oler, there is an O in the stem, right? There is an O as part of the infinitive. That O will change into ue. So this verb is also a stem change verb, but see what happened there. There is an H in the conjugation, and that H is not in the infinitive form. So that's something that we import from outside that made this verb different than the verbo, let's say, almorzar or contar or volar or morir or dormir. So once you start doing the conjugation, will be huelo, hueles, huele, huelen, all those conjugations inside the boot. Olemos, nosotros olemos, vosotros oléis, right? One more time, oler means to smell. So as an example, I have here, ella huele el perfume. You can make another example. La comida huele bien, right? La casa huele a flores, right? Those are examples to use the verbo oler in sentences, right? So my suggestion is practice these verbs until you get what we want to do. The next verb is the verbo inquirir. Now, the verbo inquirir is not a common verb. The verbo inquirir means to inquire or to investigate or to search as a police action. So if you are a CJ student, you are studying in the CJ program, most likely you can use this verb. But if you are a biotech major, if you are an English major, if you are a sports managing major, you won't need this verb. So you can skip that verb. That verb won't be important for you. But if you are a CJ, that will be an important verb. Now, how the verb goes in the conjugation? Exactly like the verbo pensar or the verbo sentir, right? With an E in the stem. But that E is imported from outside because see the infinitive is I in the stem. And the verbs that change as a stem change verb, we have an E that change into IE. Here we already have the E as part of the stem, so we imported the E and we have now the conjugation. Inquiero, inquieres, inquiere, inquieren. And then for nosotros and vosotros form, inquirimos, inquirís. Remember, nosotros and vosotros form in all these verbs, as well as in the stem change verbs, they behave as regular verbs. They have regular conjugations. As an example, la policía inquiere a Tomás. El FBI inquiere al profesor. Right? ICE inquiere a los inmigrantes, and so on and so on. So you have some examples there how to use the verbo inquirir. Remember, it's a verb that we only use in the police domain. Let me move down and go into the next verb. The next verb is the verbo guiar, to guide or to lead, right? If you work in the college, in the admission office, most likely you already have been doing this action. If you are a leader in your team, most likely you already have been doing this action. If you are a leader in the community, most likely you have been already doing this action. So guiar means to guide or to lead. Now here, the irregularity is a little bit more difficult for you guys because the irregularity here is only an acento. And I know acentos are difficult for you because in English we don't have acentos. You don't have to put acentos in English, but in Spanish acentos are very important. So how is the declination of this verb? Yo guío, tú guías, él guía, ellos guían. And one more time, nosotros and vosotros remain regular. Nosotros guiamos, vosotros guiáis, right? As an example, Ashley guía a los padres de familia, right? Ashley, she's a student, but she works in the admission office, and she's guiding, she's giving a tour to all those parents or all the students, potential students coming to or college or university. Ashley guía a los padres de familia, right? Ashley guía a los estudiantes. El policía guía el tráfico, el director guía a la orquesta, el maestro, el maestro in English, right? Guía a la orquesta. So that verb is an important one because not only because it's a very useful one, but also because it's a lead of other verbs. Verbos that are similar to guiar en español, and you have more in your chapter 6. This is a compressed, a summary type of thing of chapter 6. You have verbs like confiar, to trust, very important verb. Desconfiar, to untrust. Fiar, to lend money or to lend money to another person. Enviar, to send. Espiar, to spy. All these verbs plus other similar verbs, they all have the same kind of irregularity. They have an acento over the I, like in guío, guías, guía, guían. That's the only irregularity, and as you have to work for that, all right? Let's move on and go to the verbo continuar. Oops. In the introduction, I told you that continuar is not an easy verb, right? I have to do something here because the board is falling apart. The verbo continuar is a very important one because most of the time we use it as substitution of verbo estar in progressive tenses, right? Yo estoy hablando, yo continúo hablando, right? Now, what is the irregularity of continuar? Exactly like guiar, is only one acento. Where do we put the acento? Over the you, right? So it will be yo continúo, tú continúas, él continúa, nosotros continuamos regular, vosotros continuáis regular, ellos continúan. Now, of all these verbs, probably this will be one of the most difficult ones because you have to remember that most of the time you will use it in progressive tense situation. If you already forgot how to do progressive tense, then we will have a problem, right? Remember, we do progressive tense with a verbo estar and a verb in gerund form, and here you can substitute the estar by continuar and a gerund form. Yo continúo hablando. That hablando is the gerund form, ing in English, right? Yo continúo hablando. El perro continúa ladrando. El hombre continúa corriendo. And so on, and so on, and so on, right? Like continuar, there is at least two verbs. One of those is very difficult, rehusar, so I will skip it. But I will say actuar must be an important verb. Why actuar is important? Because actuar means to act, right? And if you are taking drama classes or you like to act, that verb can be important. Now, how will be the irregularity in actuar? Exactly like continuar. You will have to put the acento over the you in all the subject inside the boot and keep nosotros and vosotros regular, meaning with no acento over the you. Now, let's move on. The next verb is a group of verbs. It's not only one verb, it's a group of verbs that are ending in wir. U-I-R, right? It's not only ir, it has to be U-I-R. Verbos ending in wir, right? There are many verbs that are ending in wir in Espanol. I will have as a role model the verbo huir, H-U-I-R. That verb means to run away, to escape, right? And the irregularity will be exactly like, you remember the verbo oír, will be the same kind of change of verbo oír, a Y in the stem. Huyo, huyes, huye, huyen, and then nosotros and vosotros go back to regular. Huimos, huís, right? Now, like huir, to run away or to escape, we have construir. So if somebody in your family build houses, that verb can be very important for you. Distribuir, you work in a line of business that you distribute things, you bring things to different places, that's distribuir. Like the people that works with FedEx or UPS or the mail people, the mailmen, right? Another verb similar to that is destruir, to destroy, right? Concluir will be another common verb, to conclude, to finish. Sustituir, to substitute, right? If you are a player, for instance, maybe your coach will take you out and put another player instead of you. Or on the other way, you can enter the game and the coach will substitute another player and ask you to go and play for a moment. That's sustituir. So that can be a useful verb, right? So we have more in your chapter 6. I am not trying to put all the information from chapter 6 here. This is a summary as I says, right? So huir, construir, distribuir, destruir, concluir, substituir. I hope that you are hearing the ending. You, I, are. We're. If you hear that, all those verbs has to be conjugated exactly like we're here. Huyo, huyes, huye, huyen, huimos, huís. One example can be el profesor huye del coronavirus. El profesor huye del oso. El hombre huye de las abejas. La mujer huye de su esposo, los estudiantes huyen de las clases, etcétera, 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 right? So I hope that seeing this kind of like an improvised type of board, you can have a better understanding of this piece of information, because it's very, very important that you learn how to conjugate this group of verbs, that they resemble you as tense-changing verbs, even though they are not. They follow the same pattern, and they are important group of verbs. And with that, we are not seeing more verbs in this semester. This is the last chunk of verbs that we are doing in this semester. And believe it or not, we have done all the verbs, all the regular verbs and all the irregularities. We have been covering those during this semester. So what is your part now? You have to practice and practice and practice and be patient to make mistakes and learn from your own mistakes, right? So I hope that you enjoy this presentation. I hope that you can apply this information and you can learn more about this. Now, before I conclude the class, I want to tell you that it's already there a quiz on Canvas, and you can solve the quiz because this is the last topic that is on the quiz. All right? The other topic that is already there in YouTube of chapter 6 is saber against conocer, that I won't present. You already did that. It's a very short video, the last video that we present, like 6 minutes. And hopefully you can go and practice those two verbs also. And hopefully you can go and practice this. If you still need practice, I will address this topic the coming Friday. So for now, this is all the information that I have for you. And before I say goodbye, I want to remind you to go and watch the videos in YouTube and subscribe to my channel there. So long for now.